Thanks, Kate, and it's great to be here again. When we were at this conference last year, I think our share price was trading somewhere around the 3 cent mark, and we're up well over 7 cents now, and seeing the reward for all of our efforts over the last few years. So looking forward to talking to you today about what we're up to at Sky Metals and us taking it to the next level here and continuing to grow what is already a large resource, and to tell you a bit more about this modern technology advantage that we have at our deposit. Quick disclaimer there. To give you a bit of a snapshot of Sky Metals, cornerstone asset is the Tullabung Tin project. We've got a quality team. Norm Seckold is our chairman. We've got a team on the board and in management that have taken exploration projects through to development, done this very thing that we're aiming to do now time and time again, and a great track record. Near-term growth with ongoing drilling. The tin market itself, as Greg touched on, is looking at a very pivotal stage now, and we also have a terrific asset pipeline. The Doradilla project is looking like a very large tin resource that we're developing as well, and all of this is coming to continuing to increase our value. To touch on that, very experienced board and management. Norm Seckold's our chairman. He's been involved in countless successes over the years. He's currently chairman of Nickel Industries, responsible for I think something like 10% of the world's nickel. Alpha HPA, who have been a tremendous success, and most recently, and unfortunately I don't have it on this list, I haven't updated it, but Ouvray has also hit one of his new companies, and we're wishing them all the best. Richard Hill, he's no longer chairman of New World Resources as they've recently sold, but again another success story there, and Remus and Richard Hill were the founders of Aurelia and got the Hera mine started, and the Hera mine is one of the closest deposits to where our cornerstone asset at Sky is in the Cobar Basin. So these guys have done this time and time again and in this region. So I have a great team, and myself, I've been very lucky to be part of some successful teams at Evolution Mining and Alkane Resources in some of their significant exploration success. A great thing to look at too is we've already got some very experienced environmental consultants on board, and they're here to get us through the permitting process as quickly as possible and get us into production as soon as we can. To follow on what Greg said on the tin market and to get into a bit more detail, tin is currently trading at around $35,000 US a tonne. That's three and a half times the copper price. It's a very valuable metal, and we're seeing surging demand, particularly in this graph here from the Macquarie Strategy Group. You can see that solar, automotive and semiconductors are seeing a large increase in demand for tin. Traditionally, an internal combustion engine, a car, has about 400 grams of tin in it. An EV has about 1.2 kilograms. So as we make this energy transition, we're going to see much more demand for tin, and that's leading to an increase in the price. And this is on top of what is a very shaky supply situation. Already, pretty much all of the tin suppliers are redlining it to try and manage current demand. With that demand increasing, we're seeing these suppliers continually struggle. A lot of them are in unstable jurisdictions. We recently saw over 5% of the world tin blink out when a Congolese rebel group advanced further south and shut down one of the tin mines in the Congo. So you have a very fragile supply situation. We're seeing more and more demand for tin. We're struggling to keep up with the current demand, and there's very limited reliable and ethical sources of tin, and very few investment options on the ASX. And this is where Sky Metals comes in with our Tullabung Tin project. What you can see there is an aerial photograph of Tullabung. It was mined through the 1960s and 70s very extensively for the alluvials. It's been mined for near 100 years from when it was discovered in the 1890s. There's a lot of tin production here historically, but we're now proving up a hard rock tin resource that lies underneath all this historic mining. And the historic mining gives us lots of shortcuts in place to get us back into production as quickly as possible. Not only are we looking at a pre-disturbed site, but we also have power lines into site We've got haul roads and good roads back to town, an old water pipeline corridor down the Lachlan River, a lot of shortcuts in place for us to plug into and get this project back into production as quickly as possible. We have a large and growing tin deposit here defined for well over 2 kilometres and excited about what we're finding. The key advantages that we have is a low-cost mining proposition with very low strip ratios. We have a shallow dipping deposit and we continue to grow the resource with every hole. Another advantage is our application of ore sorting. Ore sorting is pretty well ubiquitous technology in tin mining, and we're just very lucky to have absolutely the ideal deposit for ore sorting, where we're seeing a 10 times upgrade in grade, and crucially that means we're getting rid of over 90% of the mined mass. So previously, if it was going to cost us $100 million to develop this project for the CapEx, we're looking at $10 million now because we're getting rid of 90% of the mass that has to be processed. And we're looking at 10% of that OPEX as well to then process it. So that's a huge advantage. And then that downstream processing is very simple in itself. It's just an old school gravity circuit that makes up a tin concentrate. And that tin concentrate, we are looking at very, very high payabilities for it. Our test work so far has proven that we can make a plus 60% tin concentrate, and given the surging demand for tin concentrates globally, that's a very sought after concentrate that they use for blending and things. So we're looking at some really key advantages here that make this a very low cost tin production potential project here, and to give us a very desirable product. To talk about our recent successes, we've been ongoing on a very large drilling campaign, which initially started off with some conservative step-out holes and infill drilling to start our mining studies getting out. We've had unprecedented success. We hit 11 metres over 1% tin and quite a bit of silver with that as well as we stepped out to the south. And we've now expanded on that again with 3 metres at over 600 grams silver and near 1% tin. Again, tin's worth 3 times as much as copper, so you're looking at open pittable, over 3% copper equivalent values here. Very, very high grade material, shallow, open pittable, and then very cheap to process, crucially. And now we're looking at eastern extensions too, with 10 metres at near 0.7% tin and a bit of silver running with that too. There's quite a bit of silver and tungsten with this deposit that place us really well because they're classified as critical minerals in New South Wales, and silver is on the high priority critical minerals list. So that places us very well for development. These results are continuing to show us that this deposit is wide open, continues to grow with every drill hole, and we're now looking to continue this drilling program and on the path to updating our resource and getting mining studies out. Our current resource stands at 15.6 million tonnes at 0.15% tin. That does not include all of this recent drilling that we've done over the last couple of years. So the white dots on that map are the drill holes that we use to estimate that resource. All of those green dots are our new drill holes. So significantly more drilling has been done since that resource estimate, and we're looking at a much larger system now. And crucially as well, that ore sorting upgrade takes a 0.15% tin head grade and upgrades it to around 1.5% tin, which is absolutely phenomenal and has great benefits for this project. So to talk briefly about why our deposit is so ideal for ore sorting, it really comes down to how coarse our tin cassiterite grains are. And we've recently completed a large bulk sampling program where we excavated over 70 tonne of material, ran it through the ore sorter, and we're seeing terrific results, improving on our past test work and showing that this ore sorting process is incredibly robust, even on very large bulk samples. And the ore sorting works quite simply by taking an X-ray image of the rock. The darker grains there are the denser tin grains, and all of the lighter grains there are material without tin. Those grains get classified as waste, they get dropped, and all of the tin grains get fired off. And in this process, we are able to do this ore sorting upgrade that we achieve. I've just got a quick video here to take you through now this bulk sampling program. So they're bulker bags full of all of the material that we excavated. and they get loaded up now on the forklift, get ready to be loaded into the TOMRA ore sorting machine. And then here we have a pan feeder that spreads out the rock, which is then dropped onto a conveyor belt underneath. The rock then runs along the conveyor belt, gets x-rayed, and then you can see the air jets there firing off the rocks with tin in, and everything else gets dropped, and the two conveyor belts coming out. The closest one is our waste. You can see how much is coming off that and how little is coming off on that accepted stream. All of that waste is removed. We don't need to do anything else with that now. And you can see how little rock's coming in that actual product stream that we actually now process to get the majority of the tin from. So terrific application, excellent for this project. And this has come from some work we did earlier in the year where we completed some trenching. The great advantage of having a deposit that comes to surface, as Tullabung does, is that we can just get in there and simply dig it up, put it on a truck, get it crushed and send it down the TOMRA to do this test work. And all of this is optimising our flow sheet, and from this we'll be able to produce a saleable tin concentrate that we can use for marketing to end stream users, and then also increase our confidence in the resource estimation. We've successfully predicted exactly where this ore body comes up, where the higher grade zones are, and it's been a terrific success and given us some great results that continue to improve this project. There are some higher grade zones existing in this deposit that will be great for starter pits and things, and it looks like these things will be able to expose us to paying off the capex in months rather than years when we come to production. The path forward is quite obvious for now. Continue our drilling, update a resource, and then get on to putting out our mining scoping studies early next year to talk about how economic this project really can be. We are very well advanced on all of our background environmental studies, and these are positioning us to be in a very strong position to quickly get into production and get our approvals for mining. So we've stepped through a number of stages now that have poised us to be able to quickly advance our environmental approvals. And what that looks like coming together on a timeline is our environmental approvals being well advanced. We now need to infill and increase and build on these higher grade discoveries that we've made at Tullabung, all to culminate in an updated resource and mining studies to be released as soon as we can, and then moving quickly from there into feasibility studies and to commence mining. Just to briefly touch on another project that we've been developing at Sky. The Doradilla project is up near Burke in northern New South Wales. It's been known about for almost 50 years, and for a long time it's been a giant in waiting. There's been metallurgical issues that no one's been able to solve, but recently we have had a breakthrough there where we've been able to produce a saleable tin concentrate from this deposit, and we're looking at an incredibly large deposit. For only 2.5 kilometres, we've estimated a very large exploration target you can see there, but we think this project is at least triple that size, and this has the potential to make Sky Metals further from Tullabung into a tin producer that could be active for decades. So it's a very exciting development for us. It's a project that's not nearly as advanced as Tullabung, but something that really adds quite a lot of depth to Sky Metals' pipeline, and we're quite excited to develop that after Tullabung. Thank you very much for your time today.